My friends, I want you to hear this deep in your spirit today. You are not walking through this valley alone. Right now, this very moment, there is a holy battle being waged on your behalf. Though you may not see it with your eyes, though your circumstances may scream defeat, the Almighty is standing guard over your life. He has assigned angels to surround you, His Spirit to strengthen you, His promises to hold you steady when your knees feel weak. You may feel the weight of the world pressing in, but heaven's armies have already been dispatched to push back the darkness that seeks to overwhelm you. So don't let fear steal your hope or let doubt chain your faith. Lift your eyes beyond the struggle you face and see the one who goes before you, the one who stands behind you, the one who covers you on every side. The battle you're fighting is not yours alone, it belongs to the Lord, and He has never lost a fight. There comes a time in every life when the weight of loneliness presses so heavily upon the soul that it feels like no one understands, no one sees, and no one cares. It is in these dark valleys, when your footsteps echo through empty halls of worry and doubt, that the enemy whispers, *, you are all alone. But I am here to remind you today that there is a greater truth when you feel alone. Heaven's armies stand with you. Look back over the pages of your life and you'll see it. There were nights when you wept into your pillow, convinced that no one knew the depth of your pain. There were days when you smiled for the world but trembled inside, holding secrets too heavy for human ears. And yet, even then, you were not abandoned. The one who formed you in your mother's womb, who numbered every hair on your head, was there standing guard over your soul. He dispatched His angels to encamp around you. When the enemy came in like a flood, they raised up a standard against him. You did not see the battle, but heaven fought for you. Do not think for a moment that your cries have gone unheard. Not a single tear has fallen that the Almighty has not gathered. Not a single groan of your spirit has failed to stir the courts of heaven, for you are His beloved. You are the one He would leave the 99 to rescue. You are the one He would cross the stormy seas to reach. When you feel abandoned by people, you are held by the presence of God. When your friends turn away, heaven leans in closer. When your family fails to understand, your Father wraps you in everlasting arms that never grow weary. Some of you have been fighting silent battles, wrestling with thoughts that steal your peace. You have walked into rooms full of people yet felt invisible, as if no one could truly see you. But I say to you, you are seen not with the eyes of flesh, but with the eyes of a loving God whose gaze never turns away. He is nearer than your next breath. He is closer than the beating of your heart. His Spirit whispers in your loneliest moments, *, be still, I am here. *, remember the story of Elisha's servant, trembling with fear when surrounded by enemy forces. All he could see was the threat, the hopelessness, the certainty of defeat. But Elisha prayed, Lord, open his eyes. And when the servant's eyes were opened, he saw the hills filled with horses and chariots of fire, heaven's armies standing guard, outnumbering the enemy. You, too, have unseen warriors encircling you. Though your natural eyes behold the mountain of trouble, faith opens your eyes to the hosts of heaven. When betrayal comes like a dagger to your back, know that the captain of the hosts stands at your side. When sickness drains your body and you lie awake in the silence of the night, know that ministering angels surround your bed. When the weight of depression presses down so heavy that you wonder if you will ever see the sun again, remember heaven's armies do not retreat. They war on your behalf even when you feel too weak to pray. You are never outnumbered, never overpowered, never forsaken. The same God who parted the Red Sea for Moses will make a way through your impossibility. The same God who stood with Daniel in the lion's den stands with you when you feel devoured by life's struggles. The same God who closed the mouths of the lions will silence every lie that the enemy whispers in your ear. So lift your head, raise your eyes above the shadows. Do not let the silence convince you that God has gone missing. Some battles are fought in secret. Some victories are forged in the midnight hour. You may not see the chariots of fire, but they stand guard at your doorstep. You may not hear the beating wings of angels, but they encamp around you. You may feel forgotten by this world, but you are treasured by the King of glory. When loneliness knocks, let faith answer the door. When despair calls your name, let hope remind you that you are never alone. Heaven's armies do not grow weary, they do not sleep, they do not abandon their post. They stand watch over your life, your family, your future. They stand in the hospital room, in the courtroom, in the empty bedroom where you weep. They stand in the places you fear to go, and they will stand until the victory is won. Today, I urge you, do not measure God's presence by your feelings. Feelings come and go, but his promise remains. He said, asterisk, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Asterisk, that is not a maybe, that is not a sometimes. That is forever. Hold that promise close when your heart aches. Declare it over your home when the shadows grow long. Remind your weary soul that you are not in this battle alone. One day, when you stand on the other side of this struggle, you will look back and realize that it was not your strength that carried you through, it was his. You will see the footprints of angels in the sand behind you. You will trace the moments when you could have fallen apart but somehow held together, and you will know it was heaven's armies fighting for you every step of the way. So keep walking, child of God, keep believing, keep hoping, keep standing, for even when you feel alone, heaven's armies stand with you, and no power in hell can stand against them. The battle belongs to the Lord, and he has never lost a battle. Rest in that truth. Lean on that promise, and lift your head high, for you are never alone. There comes a moment in every life when you must come to the end of yourself. When all your plans unravel, when your strength dries up like a riverbed in drought, when your clever solutions cannot untangle the knots that life has tied around you. It is there, in that sacred place of surrender, that you discover a truth far greater than any you have known. Your battle is not yours alone. Your battle is God's battle, and when you lay it down at his feet, that's when true victory begins. Too often we grip our burdens with clenched fists, convinced that if we try harder, work longer, fight fiercer, somehow we will win. We wear ourselves out swinging at shadows, wrestling with what we were never meant to conquer in our own power. We pace the floors at night, our minds spinning like a wheel stuck in the mud, going nowhere yet burning all our strength. But all the while, the gentle voice of God is calling, let it go, hand it over. This fight is not yours to win alone. Think of David standing before Goliath. He was but a shepherd boy, small and untested in the eyes of men. The giant towered over him with armor and sword, mocking him with every breath. But David knew what too many of us forget: the battle was never his. It was the Lord's, and with a single smooth stone, guided by faith and the hand of heaven, that giant fell, not because David was strong, but because David surrendered his weakness and trusted in the strength of his God. Some battles you face are the giants that mock you day after day, the diagnosis that shakes your body, the addiction that grips your mind, the broken relationship that weighs on your heart, the fear that creeps in when the lights go out. You can try to swing your own stones in your own strength, or you can do what David did: stand in faith. Surrender your sling to the one who never misses his mark and watch giants crumble. Surrender is not a sign of defeat. It is the gateway to victory. The world will tell you to keep fighting, keep pushing, keep striving until you have nothing left to give. But God says, my child, be still and know that I am God. Your striving will not save you. Your panic will not deliver you, but your surrender will make room for my power to work. As long as you grip the battle, your hands are too full to receive the miracle. Do you remember Moses standing at the edge of the Red Sea? Behind him, Pharaoh's army thundered closer, dust rising from the chariots of an enemy determined to destroy God's people. Before him, the waters of impossibility stretched wide and deep. There was no way forward, no way back. Fear must have surged through every heart, but God spoke through Moses, commanding the people, "Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord." He did not tell them to swim. He did not tell them to fight the Egyptians with sticks and stones. He told them to stand still, to surrender their fear, to trust his promise. And when they did, the waters parted, and the enemy was swallowed up in the very sea that once blocked their way. This is what surrender looks like in your life. It is standing still in faith when every instinct says run or fight. It is lifting your hands in worship when your heart is breaking. It is choosing to forgive when bitterness wants to take root. It is praying for your enemies when revenge would feel sweeter. It is laying down your pride and saying, "I cannot win this by myself, Lord. Take over, fight for me." You see, when you surrender, you align your weakness with his strength, your questions with his wisdom, your limitations with his limitless power. And in that sacred exchange, victory comes not always in the way you imagined, not always in the time you hoped, but always in the way that brings glory to his name and good to your soul. Some of you are carrying burdens you were never designed to carry. You lie awake rehearsing every detail, playing every outcome in your mind like a broken record, and yet your worry has not changed a single thing. Let this be the day you lay it down. Take that burden to the cross and leave it there. Do not pick it back up when you walk away. Surrender means trust. Trust means rest. Rest means you stop trying to be your own savior, and when you feel doubt creeping back in, remind your soul that your battle is God's battle. He does not lose. He does not grow weary. He does not overlook a single cry that rises from your lips. He has gone before you. He stands behind you. He surrounds you on every side. He fights for you when you are too weak to lift your head. He whispers peace when the storm howls loudest. He breaks chains you could never break in a lifetime of striving. So many people stand at the edge of their miracle yet miss it because they refuse to surrender. They keep rowing their own boat in circles, all the while the master of the seas stands ready to calm the winds and carry them to shore. Let go of the oars, let him take the helm. He knows the way you do not see. He holds tomorrow while you tremble through today. Remember this, God has a flawless record. He has never lost a battle. The cross looked like defeat to the world, but it was the greatest victory ever won. Death thought it had claimed him, but 3 days later, the stone was rolled away, and resurrection life burst forth for you and me. If God can conquer death, he can conquer what you face. If he can turn the grave into a garden, he can turn your mourning into dancing, your ashes into beauty, your fear into faith. So today, stand in that holy place of surrender. Lift your hands in quiet trust and declare, "Lord, this is not my battle anymore. It is yours. I will rest in your victory. I will stand in your promise. I will walk in your peace. And when the enemy comes knocking, I will remember I do not fight alone. The captain of heaven's hosts fights for me." Your battle is God's battle. Surrender it all and watch him do what only he can do. For when you lay it down, you make room for resurrection life to rise, for giants to fall, for seas to part, for chains to break, for joy to return. There is victory on the other side of surrender, a victory that is yours, not because you earned it, but because He already won it. Rest in that truth, walk in that freedom, and never forget the battle belongs to the Lord. There are seasons in life when the silence feels so heavy that it echoes through every chamber of your heart. You pray and hear no answer. You seek and see no sign. You knock and the door remains closed. And in that quiet, the enemy loves to whisper lies that God has forgotten you, that your prayers have fallen on deaf ears, that your hope has run dry. But I want to tell you today, with every fiber of my soul, that even in silence, God is working behind the scenes. Think of a seed buried in the soil. It disappears beneath the surface, hidden from every eye. Days pass, sometimes weeks, and nothing seems to change. To the impatient observer, it looks dead, wasted, forgotten in the dirt. But deep in that darkness, something holy is happening. The shell breaks open, roots dig deep, life begins to stir long before the sprout pushes through to the light. If you judge the promise by what you see above ground, you'll lose hope too soon. The miracle is happening in secret, and so it is with your life. Some of you have been buried under the weight of unanswered prayers. You have cried out for a breakthrough that seems to slip further from your reach. You have trusted for healing, for restoration, for a door to open, but all you hear is silence. Hear me today, silence is not absence. Silence is not abandonment. Silence is often the sacred space where God does His deepest work. Look at Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, locked away in a prison for a crime he did not commit. Years passed in silence. The dreams God had given him must have seemed like cruel illusions as the walls of that cell closed in. But what Joseph could not see was that every moment of that silence was preparation for the palace. God was orchestrating every betrayal, every injustice, every lonely night to position him for a purpose greater than he could imagine. In the stillness of that prison, God was working behind the scenes. Or think of Esther, a young Jewish girl plucked from obscurity to become queen in a foreign land. No angelic visitations, no burning bush, no parted sea. Just quiet courage and faithful obedience. The name of God is not even mentioned in the book of Esther, yet His fingerprints are all over every page. While the enemy plotted to destroy her people, God placed His servant in the right place at the right time. Deliverance came through hidden, quiet faithfulness. Even when heaven seemed silent, heaven was moving. And what about the disciples, standing at the foot of a Roman cross, watching the one they loved breathe his last breath? Darkness fell, the earth shook. Their hopes were buried in a borrowed tomb. For 3 days there was silence, the kind that breaks a soul in half. They could not see it then, but behind that stone, the greatest miracle in all of history was unfolding. Death was being conquered, sin was being defeated, and resurrection power was breaking forth in the very place that looked like the end. The silence of the grave was the birthplace of eternal hope. So do not despise the quiet seasons of your life. Do not rush past the stillness because you are uncomfortable with it. Do not mistake the silence for neglect. The same God who spoke the universe into being with a word is the same God who sometimes works in whispers. Sometimes He says, "Be still and know that I am God." In the hush of that stillness, He is aligning what you cannot see, opening doors you do not know exist, changing hearts you cannot reach, moving mountains you think will never budge. Perhaps you are praying for a loved one who seems so far from faith. You see no change, no sign of repentance, but behind the curtain, God is softening their heart, sending people into their path, planting seeds that will bear fruit in due time. Perhaps you are asking for direction and the heavens feel shut, but the silence may be protecting you from a path you were never meant to take. What feels like a delay is often divine preparation. Sometimes the silence is the greatest act of mercy. If God gave you everything you asked for the moment you asked for it, you might be destroyed by the weight of the blessing you were not yet ready to carry. He cares too much for you to let you build your house on sand. So he works in the secret places, laying foundations, removing what would harm you, strengthening what will sustain you. So what do you do in the silence? You worship, you stand firm, you keep praying even when you feel nothing. You trust him with a childlike faith. You remind your soul that the same God who was faithful then will be faithful now. You speak his promises over your life until your heart believes them again. You lean into the stillness and listen for the gentle whisper that says, I am here. I am working, I am for you, and one day perhaps when you least expect it, the silence will break. The seed will push through the soil, the door will swing open wide. The answer will come, and you will see that it was worth every tear, every unanswered question, every long night when you wondered if you'd make it through. You will stand on the other side and say, if I had known what God was doing behind the scenes, I would have never doubted him for a moment. Child of God, hold fast. Do not let the hush of this season rob you of your faith. Your prayers are not wasted. Your tears are not forgotten. Your waiting is not in vain. Even in silence, God is weaving a story so beautiful that when it unfolds, you will fall to your knees in awe of the one who never stopped working for your good. So be still and let your heart rest in this truth. When heaven seems quiet, the King is still on his throne, and his hands are moving behind the scenes for you. There is a sacred truth every weary heart must hold on to. The struggle does not mean you are defeated. The trial does not mean you have been abandoned. The valley does not mean you will never see the mountaintop again. There is a divine process at work in your life, a refining, a shaping, a strengthening that only comes when you choose to trust the process and lean on a strength far greater than your own. Too many of us want the victory without the fight. We want the crown without the cross, the testimony without the test, the harvest without the planting and the waiting. But look through the pages of Scripture, and you will see that every person God used greatly was first led through seasons of struggle. Not because he delights in your pain, but because he knows what lies on the other side of your surrender is a faith forged in the fire, a faith that can stand when the winds of life howl and the waves rise high. Think of the silversmith tending the fire that refines precious metal. He does not abandon the silver in the flames, nor does he snatch it out too soon. He watches it carefully, allowing the heat to burn away the dross, the impurities that would weaken its beauty and strength. How does he know when it is ready, when he can see his reflection in it? So it is with you. God allows the refining heat of struggle not to destroy you, but to burn away what does not belong: fear, pride, doubt, bitterness, until his reflection shines through your life. This is why you must trust the process, because what feels like breaking is really making. What feels like crushing is really pressing out a new oil, a new anointing, a new depth of faith. When the road twists and turns, when prayers seem unanswered, when doors close and dreams shatter, hold on to this unshakable truth. Divine strength is not given when you feel strong. It is birthed in the moments when you have nothing left but God. Look at Joseph, whose journey was marked by betrayal, false accusation, and prison bars. If he had given up in the pit, if he had doubted in the dungeon, he never would have stood in the palace. He trusted the process, even when he could not see the promise. And in the fullness of time he saw that what others meant for evil, God used for good. Or consider Job, stripped of everything he held dear, family, wealth, health, yet he clung to his Redeemer. He could not understand the trial, could not explain the pain, but he trusted the one who held his future. And when the testing was over, God restored him double for all he had lost, divine strength in the midst of struggle. We see it in the life of David, anointed king yet hunted like a criminal, hiding in caves, betrayed by those he loved, misunderstood and alone, yet these caves became holy classrooms where the shepherd boy learned to lean on the rock that never fails. When he stood on the battlefield against Goliath, his courage was not forged that day. It was forged in the unseen places where he had learned that the battle is the Lord's. So what does it look like for you? It means that when you walk through the fire, you do not curse the flame, but trust the one who walks with you in it. It means that when the storm rages, you do not fix your eyes on the waves, but on the one who calms them with a word. It means that when the waiting feels endless, you do not despise the delay, but believe that in the waiting, your roots grow deep and your faith grows strong. Trust the process. There is purpose in the struggle. Maybe you are praying for a door to open, but the process is teaching you perseverance. Maybe you are asking for deliverance, but the process is revealing who your true deliverer is. Maybe you are longing for a breakthrough, but the process is preparing you so that when the blessing comes, you will have the character to carry it. Divine strength is not something you conjure up on your own. It is not a pep talk you give yourself in the mirror. It is a gift poured out when your strength runs dry. The Apostle Paul learned this secret when he pleaded 3 times for his thorn to be removed, and the answer came, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness." And so Paul declared, "When I am weak, then I am strong," not because he was mighty in himself, but because in his emptiness he was filled with the all-sufficient power of God. If you find yourself weary today, do not despise your weakness. It is the door through which divine strength enters in. If you feel like you are being stretched beyond your limit, remember that the stretching is expanding your capacity for the greater things God has in store. If you feel hidden, overlooked, forgotten, know that in the hidden places God does his deepest work. Think of the caterpillar sealed in the darkness of the cocoon. To the outside eye, it looks like death's stillness, silence, no sign of life. But inside that darkness, transformation is taking place. Wings are being formed, beauty is being shaped, and one day the struggle within that cocoon will push that fragile creature into the light, stronger for the fight it endured. So it is with you. What feels like confinement is the very place where your wings are being formed. So stand firm in the midst of the struggle. Fix your eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Trust the hands that hold you. Trust the potter who shapes you. Trust the shepherd who leads you even through the valley of the shadow of death. You may not understand the twists and turns, but you can trust the one who wrote your story from beginning to end. One day you will look back and see that every tear watered your faith, every trial strengthened your spirit, every delay protected you, every heartbreak redirected you, and every struggle became a stepping stone to the promise he always intended for you. So lift your head, child of God. The process may be long, but the promise is sure. The struggle may be fierce, but the victory is certain. His strength is made perfect in your weakness. Trust the process, and you will find divine strength rising within you, carrying you through what you could never carry alone. And when you stand on the other side, you will declare with a grateful heart, "It was worth it all." There is a sacred promise for every weary soul who feels like they are standing in the wreckage of a life that once held so much hope from breakdowns to breakthroughs, God is fighting for you now. Right here in this very moment, when you feel like you have nothing left, when the pieces of your heart lie scattered on the floor, when every door seems shut and every prayer feels unanswered that is not the end of your story, that is the very place where heaven rolls up its sleeves and goes to work on your behalf. We all know what it feels like to reach that breaking point. The moment when the weight is too heavy to carry, when the diagnosis comes back worse than you imagined, when the betrayal cuts so deep you wonder if you will ever trust again, when the debt stacks so high you cannot see a way out, when your mind grows so weary you question if you will make it through another night. These moments of breakdown are not foreign to the children of God. They are often the very soil where He plants the seeds of a breakthrough. When your strength is gone, that is when His strength shows up. When you have no clever plan left, that is when His wisdom leads the way. When you have run out of tears to cry, that is when His comfort carries you. For the same God who parted the Red Sea, who shut the mouths of lions, who brought water from a rock, who rolled the stone away from the empty tomb, He has not changed. He is fighting for you now. Think of Elijah, weary and broken under the broom tree. He had called down fire from heaven, faced down the prophets of Baal, but when the threat of Jezebel came, his courage failed him. He sat under that tree and begged God to let him die. His breakdown was so raw, so human. But God did not rebuke him in that moment. He sent an angel to feed him, to let him rest, to remind him that he was not alone. God was fighting for him even as Elijah fell apart. Or remember Peter, bold and brash, the one who vowed to stand by the Master no matter what. But when the cock crowed, Peter's breakdown was complete. He had denied the very one he loved, not once but 3 times. He wept bitter tears, broken by his own weakness. Yet on the shores of Galilee, the risen Christ restored him, gave him a fresh commission, and turned that breakdown into a breakthrough that would shake the world. The rock that crumbled became the rock that would help build the church. And what about you? Maybe you feel like you have failed too many times. Maybe the enemy keeps replaying your worst moments like a cruel movie in your mind. Maybe you are haunted by what was done to you, or what you did that you cannot undo. But hear this truth: no failure is too final for the God who fights for you. No mess is too tangled for His mercy to untangle. No wound is too deep for His healing touch. In the very place where you have broken down, He can build you back stronger than you have ever been. God does not waste your pain. He does not waste your tears. He does not waste the nights you thought would destroy you. Every moment you thought you were buried, He was planting you deeper in His promise. Every closed door that crushed your hope was redirecting you to a better path. Every disappointment that broke your heart was pruning away what could not stay, making room for new life to spring forth. The same hands that hold the stars in place are the same hands that hold your shattered pieces together. I know it is hard to see when you are in the middle of the storm. I know you wonder if it will always be this way. But let me remind you, the battle you face is not yours alone. The one who neither slumbers nor sleeps is watching over you. He is dispatching angels to stand guard around you. He is whispering peace into your anxious mind. He is fighting for you in ways you cannot yet see. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come not when you roar like a lion, but when you fall at His feet and say, "Lord, I can't do this on my own. I surrender." It is in that sacred surrender that His power is perfected in your weakness. It is in that holy yielding that the chains begin to fall off. It is in that quiet trust that doors swing wide, enemies scatter, and what once threatened to break you down becomes the testimony that builds you up. Breakdowns are not signs that you are defeated. They are invitations to lean into a strength that is not your own. They are reminders that you were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. They are the cracks where His light can shine through. The world may tell you to hide your scars, but heaven declares that your scars are proof that grace was greater, that mercy was stronger, that God fought for you and won. So if you find yourself at the end of your rope today, tie a knot and hold on. Heaven is not wringing its hands in worry over your situation. God is not pacing the floors of glory wondering how he will fix this. He already has a plan. He already holds the victory. He already sees the breakthrough on the other side of this breakdown. You may not feel strong right now, but that is all right. His strength is made perfect in weakness. You may not see a way out right now, but that is all right. He makes a way where there seems to be no way. You may not know how this will work out for good, but that is all right. His ways are higher, his thoughts are greater, and his love for you is deeper than you will ever comprehend. Lift your head, child of God. Wipe those tears from your eyes. Stand firm on the promise that you are never alone. The same God who carried you through every storm before will carry you through this one too. The same God who turned your mourning into dancing before will do it again. From breakdowns to breakthroughs, he is fighting for you now, not tomorrow, not someday far off, but right now. So breathe in his grace. Rest in his promise. Trust in his power, and keep moving forward, one small step of faith at a time. For the battle belongs to the Lord, and he has never lost a fight, and neither will you, because he is fighting for you even now. So hold on, dear child of God. What feels like your breaking point is often the birthplace of your greatest breakthrough. Let the world see that your scars are proof that he fought for you and did not leave you in the valley. Stand firm in the promise that the battle is not yours alone. It belongs to the Lord, who has never lost a fight. Trust that in every tear, every trial, he is working all things for your good. From breakdowns to breakthroughs, he is fighting for you now. Walk forward in faith. Victory is already yours.